Hello friends, welcome to Live Traveling. Today we'll see
Sacramento, California, complete travel guide, things to do. Sacramento, California. Sacramento is the capital of California and a city that is rich with history, culture, and countless things to impress you. The famous saying from Sacramento is that California begins here, and after spending a little bit of time here, you will understand why. It is a city that has never forgotten its past and one that continues to remember the gold rush. Take a visit to Old Sacramento State Historic Park. Old Sacramento Historic Park covers the entire area of the 1850s business district and became a National Historic Landmark in 1965. The buildings were built at the beginning of the gold rush, and there are many historic buildings, including the Eagle Theater. Throughout the years, the waterfront in this area has seen both tragedy, including fire and floods, to the success of raising the streets. The area now attracts visitors from across the globe who are keen to check out these fantastic 28 acres of park. Step back in time at the California State Railroad Museum. One of the most popular museums in Sacramento is the California State Railroad Museum. Each year, over 500,000 people flock to this museum to step back in time and discover the history of the railroad. There are 6 buildings at the museum that cover an area of 225,000 square feet. You will find many restored railroad cars and locomotives that were originally used throughout the state. Here you will see how the railroad has shaped California as well as its economy. One of the highlights of the museum is the railway post office that visitors can step aboard to get a real experience of the past. Feel inspired at Crocker Art Museum. Originally, this fine establishment was known as the E.B. Crocker Art Gallery. It has since changed its name and is the longest continuously operating art museum in the West of America. There are a lot of works of art in the museum dating from the gold rush to today. The museum opened its doors in 1871 and houses one of the largest collections of international ceramics in the U.S., as well as much work from Asia, Africa, and Europe. There is much to see and experience here, and you easily spend an entire day wandering around the beautiful pieces. Meet the animals at Sacramento Zoo. The history of the Sacramento Zoo is fascinating, as it shows how the zoo went from being the little zoo in the park to the little zoo in the park to the large, impressive zoo that you will get to experience today. Initially, the zoo was very small and housed about 40 animals that were collected from local parks. Now the zoo has 400 animals from all corners of the globe and focuses its energy on education, recreation, and conservation. There is so much to see and experience here, and children especially will thoroughly enjoy meeting all the animals. See the abandoned Sutter's Fort before the gold rush that changed the face of California forever. The community focused around Sutter's Fort. Created by John Sutter in 1839, the fort was a hive of activity until James Marshall, an employee of the fort, discovered the gold about 45 miles east of the fort that started the Californian gold rush. After this, the fort was abandoned and left as it was. The fort has now been completely restored to its former glory and placed on the Register of National Historic Landmarks. The main building of the fort is the 2-story adobe structure. It was in that very building that the first gold was found that started the gold rush. See the old with the new at California State Capitol Museum. Sitting right in the heart of Sacramento is the California State Capitol Museum. Here you can see the best of California's history as well as its current active government buildings. You can get a guided tour around the museum as part of a group, or you can walk around unaided, whichever suits you better. The whole building is stated as a museum, but it is the basement and first floor where you will see the most interesting thing. Enjoy the California Automobile Museum. The California Automobile Museum was founded by a group of volunteers in 1982. The story behind the forming of the museum is quite interesting in itself. A group of volunteers were at a meeting when one pulled out a $100 note and asked who would match him. 5 others came forward, and that was the starting funds from where the nonprofit museum was founded. The museum's first collection was to house the largest collection of Fords in the world, and as the years went by, the museum began to seek other makes of car. Today, you can enjoy a truly diverse and exciting collection of cars. See a show at the B Street Theater. The B Street Theater has become something of an institution in Sacramento, and the critics keep coming back for more great shows. The mission of the theater is to promote both education and literacy. They do this by creating shows that are of the highest quality The theater has been going strong for nearly 30 years, and in that time, the traveling part of the theater has performed in front of approximately 3.6 million students from California. The Sacramento News has awarded this place the best live theater 14 years in a row. Admire the beauty of the Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament. The Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament is the mother church of the Catholic faith in Sacramento. This means that the church serves nearly 1 million Catholics and encompasses 99 churches. The cathedral was built in 1887 and has stood proud for all these years. Recent renovations have made sure the cathedral continues to serve its people whilst looking spectacular. The cathedral has an interior dome, which is a sight to behold and stands at 34 high. Another impressive feature is the 13-foot crucifix that has a 14-foot crucifix that has a 14-foot crown overhead. The weight of the crucifix and crown is nearly 1 ton. Learn about Indian life at California State Indian Museum in 1940. The California State Indian Museum opened its door to the public with the mission of showing 3 different themes to the public. The themes reflect all that is important to the Indian life: spirit, family, and nature. The museum is full of photographs and artifacts that show off how the Indians prospered in California for thousands of years. You will get to see many traditional items that have been donated by the native Indians, as well as an exhibition focused on Ishi. Ishi is reported to have been the last survivor of the Yahi tribe. Spend a night out at Crest Theater. The Crest Theater first opened its doors over 100 years ago in 1912 with the name Empress Theater. Throughout the years, the theater has had more than its fair share of drama, both on the stage as well as off. None more famous than in 1946 when a marquee fell from the building and killed a bystander. The theater nowadays holds regular events, live shows, and classic or specialty films. There is an annual event called the Trash Film Orgy, which lasts for 6 weeks each summer, where cult cinema and local films are played.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe.